Welcome everybody to World of Tanks Replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first replay is from the user Drew. That is Drew, and he's driving the Object 140 on a standard battle on the Sand River. Object 140 being a tier 10 medium tank for the Russians. Very, very nice medium tank as well. Obviously, being Russian, it's pretty damn nice. Has very nicely sloped armor, nicely fast and maneuverable, and a pretty good gun on it as well, with just a 5.5 second reload. So I've got a couple of medium tank replays for you today. This one and the next one both medium, but if you read the title of the video, you are already well aware of that. Drew coming to the little sand dune straight off. This tank doesn't have the best gun depression, so not going to be able to crest that ridge to take anybody on, especially because he'd get shot to bits trying to do so. Type 62 chances it and takes a hit from somebody. Drew just going to try and get a shot on someone, but decides to make a break for the hill instead, rather than trying to battle it out down in the bottom there. The T69 and the IS-3 and that IS-7 coming in from the left. Going to be left to battle that one out, where Drew's going to follow the AMX 1390 up the hill. Going to offer some fire support to his scout and see what the two of these guys can achieve. Spots out a heavy tank, actually. Bit of a surprise finding a Tiger 2 up here. If Drew can get into a nice position where his lower plate can't be seen, then he's going to be able to absolutely school this Tiger 2. Just going to wait for him to pop around the corner. There he goes. Unfortunately, that one went straight into the turret. AMX 1390 set up to fire, but unfortunately, all he's achieving there is blocking Drew. He's not going to be able to get any damage from that position, as I don't think these tanks are going to push up far enough. Tiger 2 finally shows enough of his side armor for Drew to be able to get a shot through his tracks and track him there. Second shot also goes through the side armor. It was a bit of a low roll on the first one. Drew going to have to switch up to the T110E4 now, just because he is a much bigger threat. Going for the little gun mantlet on the top, and that's a very, very nice maneuver there, although you can see that thing does have a gun mantlet up there, so that can be difficult to penetrate at times. Did take a hit there. Somebody firing heat ammunition, so he's taken quite a decent bit of damage. Looks like this... oh, well. I was going to say, it looks like this Centurion 1 is going to try and take the fire so his allies can come in and mop up, but he gets ammo racked there for almost 1,000 points of damage, and this Tiger 2 now going to try and do the same thing, but I don't think he realizes how quick the reload is on these tier 10 mediums. Going to try and get himself into a position, decides to switch it up to the T110E4 to try and dissuade him from pushing any farther. But it looks like he's now switched his attention across to the AMX 1390, which is going to prove to be a mistake as he turns his turret to the side and takes a huge hit through the side there. Going to try and get another shot through the little turret at the top. They're very lucky to pen that one. As I said, there is an extra gun mantlet up there, so that spaced armor can be quite difficult to penetrate. Looking for a shot on the Tiger 2 there, but he's just able to get into cover. Only got 71 hit points. It would be nice to take out his gun from the battle, but he's got to be aware of this AMX 1390 that could be flanking around the left-hand side. He's got an IS-3. Looks like the IS-3 support may have scared off the guys from the very top of the ridge. And just going to play this one carefully. Only got about 1,100 hit points left himself, but he has already scored 3,700 points of damage, and we're only 4 minutes into this battle. He's going to flank around this left-hand side, going to rely on the fact that he thinks that the enemy team is going to be moving away. AMX 1390 takes a shot through the front, really not paying attention. Has a shot as he reverses, but the AMX 1390 hasn't got the most accurate cannon at the best of times, especially not when reversing over uneven terrain. And maybe try and get a shot on him. Looks like he gets his track taken out maybe by that IS-3, and Drew just able to finish him off no problem whatsoever. Finds in the MX 1375. The 1375 is not going to have a very good time at all penetrating the frontal armor of an Object 140. Just blocks him in, keeps him from going anywhere. He gets taken out by the IS-3. Now they're going to have to try and find the T110E4, although it looks like he's been taken out from the south there, as the Allied team won that little fight and flanked around the side. You can see they dropped back to do some defense and got taken out. That's 2 kills, 5,500 points of damage. Losing this battle at the moment, 6 kills to 8. But it feels like they've got the map advantage. The enemy team all penned in within 1/4 of the map. Oostendrew going to come up to try and battle this Lurver, although he's been taken out. Finds a Lorraine 40, finishes him off for kill number 3. Now going to move on to the Jagdtiger. Got an IS-7 here, so hopefully the Jagdtiger decides to focus on the IS-7, but if he does, that'll be a little bit of a silly move on his part. He tries to back away, doesn't manage to land a shot on him as he tumbles down the mountainside. Finds an FV-183 in the distance there. Not sure if it was him that took out the tracks of the IS-7, and most likely it was. IS-7's going to push on towards the base. Oostendrew just having a think about where he wants to go. Don't really want to assault into the tank destroyers here. Now you can see the Allied team pulled up the score a little bit at 8 kills to 9. But they're still not going to have an easy time of this one. Although they seem to have pinned the enemy team into the last quarter of the map, they still seem to have a free reign of the south and left-hand flank. Oostendrew going to use this opportunity to try and flank around. Maybe going to offer some support to the M41 Bulldog who's flanking around. Does find the Ferdinand. We can just get eyes back onto him. He could maybe put some shots into him. Enemy team has 4 tank destroyers left. So this one is going to be very, very defensive on their part. Just playing it patiently, doesn't want to give away his position too easily. Finds the enemy IS-3, but also finds the artillery. Artillery, the highest priority target, so switched his gun across to there, but wasn't able to find a shot on him as he is tucked away behind the terrain. Finds the Jagdpanzer E-100. Jagdpanzer E-100 looks like he's looking in this direction, although I didn't see Oostendrew's sixth sense go off. Maybe just having a speculative look towards this area, or maybe he got spotted on the way in. IS-3 now not looking in this direction. Going to try and get a shot on the IS-3 without presenting anything to the Jagdpanzer E-100, although the Jagdpanzer E-100 did get shot, so maybe he's left the ridgeline now. Gets a critical on the IS-3. Second shot, not a critical, does some damage. Going to wait for the IS-3 to move up the hill a little bit more. Oh, looks like the artillery shell just about lands in, so he's definitely been spotted here. And the FV-215B183 looks like he's getting into position. The E-100 moving down to try and take on the M41 Bulldog. I'm not really sure what the Bulldog's been doing. Maybe he's stuck, or maybe he's trying to defend his artillery, who has now been taken out, but not without landing a shot on the E-100. Gets a great hit through the side armour of the E-100 here. Going to play this one carefully. If he is hull down, he can probably out-duel this E-100, as E-100s tend to fire heat ammo, and heat ammo is no good whatsoever at penetrating sloped armour. They tend to bounce as they don't get the normalization that normal shells get. So if you've got nicely sloped armour and someone's firing heat shells, you can generally have a good time with that one. Oostendrew going to try and move off. Finds the Jagdpanzer E-100, gets a great shot through his side armour. Jagdpanzer's not going to be able to straighten it up in time. Oh, very unlucky to not get a penetrating shot there, but the Jagdpanzer E-100 has his shot and misses. Oostendrew can take his time now, trying to pick out some flat bit of armour. He does indeed. That's kill number 4. Got the Allies still losing this one, 9 kills to 12. The E-100 still in towards base there. M41 Bulldog not wanting to take him on alone, which you can well understand. Oostendrew going to come across now. Maybe going to take the long route around. Looks like the E-100 is just charging straight for the Bulldog here. This could work out in Oostendrew's favour. Looks like he has been spotted as the E-100 levels his gun towards him, but he's also aiming towards that Walker Bulldog. Has his shot and misses. Hit the terrain then. He's going to start to back off. Really, there's nothing he can do. He's caught in a really, really tough position now. Oostendrew going to have 3 shots before that E-100 can reload, depending on equipment and crew. But I would have thought he should be able to finish him off, trying to make himself a smaller target as possible. And there we go. Just like I said, the heat ammunition didn't penetrate the sloped armour of the Object 140. And Oostendrew takes him out for kill number 5. 8,000 points of damage. Finds the side of a Ferdinand. This is going to be like Christmas. bonus. Gets another bit of damage onto him. He's dueling with the IS-7. IS-7 should be able to finish off this Ferdinand now, which indeed he does. And that's almost evened up the score at 11 kills to 12. Looks like the Yag Tiger has resurfaced after his little cliff diving escapade. Great shot to take out his track and do damage. Usandrew just going to sit here and try and focus on the same spot. Running low on shells now. Going to have to be careful here. There we go. That is kill number 6 in a well-deserved Top Gun medal. 8,888. All the 8s in damage so far, and still 3 tanks left on the enemy team. M41 Bulldog gets taken out by the 183. Gets a critical shot on the IS-3. IS-7 looks like he's responding to the threat. IS-3 has a shot and missed. He's got to keep moving. He's switched up to heat shells now, as he doesn't have any other ammunition left. The enemy team does still have artillery, so can't sit in the same spot for too long. Moves behind a rock. IS-3 hits the rock. One more shot to take him out. There we go. Switched up to high explosive ammunition. Mid-reload there. Just didn't want to waste a heat round, considering there's still that FV-183 lurking around. And last time we saw him, he still had half hit points, 1,100. Usandrew's done a fantastic job of keeping himself alive and keeping himself healthy. Lost about 800 hit points right at the start of the battle, but hasn't lost any since then. Although he is now all alone versus the FV-215B-183 and the FV-3805, the artillery and the Death Star. Both of these guys still alive. Both of these guys in and around their base. There we go. Finds the FV. Gets a great shot onto him. And there we go. The FV gets a shot through his side armor. He's now got to make his reload. But the thing is, the Death Star's reload is about, what, 20 seconds? Usandrew, to be honest, probably could have dueled that one out. And out DPM'd the FV, as it was, decided to go for the safe option and just ditch down off the hill, uses repair kit to fix his track up. Had a little shot there, but didn't decide to take it just because that was definitely not optimal. Now he's kind of caught in a difficult position though, as he's down in the valley. Got to keep himself safe from artillery, and got to keep himself safe from this 183. One more shot from either of these guys will be enough to finish them off. The FV thinking about it, lurking, poked himself over the top to get an idea of where he was, probably waiting for the artillery to come in as well, so they can both just cliff dive this guy and take him out together. Usandrew trying to position his gun with maximum elevation and trying to keep himself safe from artillery. This FV playing it pretty smart here, coming in at different angles but not presenting a target for Usandrew to fire at. He's got his front of his tank pointed in the direction that he wants to run to. FV just drops back to wait for his camo to kick back in. Unfortunately for him, his camo isn't kicking back in. Still just waiting it out patiently for the artillery to arrive. The FV playing this one perfectly. We're just going to speed this one up again until we get back into the action, as this is just become a massive waiting game. Usandrew versus the artillery and the Death Star. Looks like the Death Star's thinking about making his maneuver. The FV comes in from the other side. Usandrew decides to switch his attention to that. Now he's got to try and dodge out the way of the FV, which he does, as the FV just gets in with splash damage. He comes in for the ram, not quite enough damage, leaves him with 40 hit points. Usandrew just needs one more good shot through the front, which he gets for kill number 8. 10,700 points of damage, GG, and the victory. So making the absolute right decision there to switch his attention across to the artillery as he comes in. Took his shot on him and then used the artillery as a little bit of cover. Managed to dodge out the way of the FV shell right at the end there. In fact, if I were you, I'd probably just skip back and watch that one again, because that was an amazing piece of play. So awesome replay there from Usandrew and his Object 140. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget to stick around, because there is another game coming right up. And our second replay is from the user Pago85. That is Pago85, and he's driving the Leopard 1 on a standard battle on the south coast. Leopard 1 being a tier 10 medium tank for the Germans. I think the Leopard 1 at the moment is suffering from the same thing that the Centurion is suffering from, that I seem to be featuring an above average amount of replays from this tank than normal. But I think that's just because you guys keep sending awesome replays from this tank, and as long as you send awesome replays, I'm going to feature awesome replays, and that was an awesome shot right through the doorway of the little ruined wall there to get a bit of damage on the side of the Leopard 1, probably not counting on the fact that there'd be somebody waiting here already to pop him in the side. Going to look to see if he makes a second mistake, but it looks like he is playing this one a little bit smarter. Does find a Jagdpanzer E100 and able to sneak a little bit of damage through his underbelly there. Very nice shot from that distance to be able to get some damage onto him, especially considering his ally there has a shot and bounces that one. Going to sit behind the rock until his camo kicks back in, then going to poke his head back out and maybe try and have another shot at the Jagdpanzer E100. Unfortunately, that one just lands in the dirt. As like I was saying, that is quite a distance away. Someone has a shot there at the indestructible rock for some reason. Jagdpanzer E100 sitting now in a hull down position. Pego going to maybe see if he can get a shot onto somebody else. Looks like the Jagdpanzer E100 is far enough back now that he can't be seen. Can see the tracks of the Waffenträger. I probably would have went for the gun shield, but probably would have missed as well, because that was a tiny target at quite a distance. That Waffenträger's under fire now, and it looks like Pego is going to decide to relocate after scoring a nice free 781 points of damage. Decides to make a move and going to transition to the other side of the map. You can see the allies haven't really made much of a push on any side. All of these medium tanks camping for some reason. I think Pego was maybe driving close to the Batchat and the Object 140 in an effort to try and shock them into motion. As yes, we are medium tanks also. Maybe we should be moving. But it looks like at the moment they're content just to sit in base. Excuse me. Sorry, I think I just punched the microphone there. So Pego going to move on to this right-hand flank now. You can see the M103 sat here. He's already taken a little bit of fire from the front, and that 121 has already abandoned the flank. So it's going to be left up to Pego to see if he can get some shots on anybody. Looks like the M103 was taking fire from the tank destroyers over there. Finds the Jagdpanzer from earlier. Unfortunately not able to put a shot through the sidearm. A little bit of a rush on that shot, but didn't want to waste too much time allowing his gun to aim. If somebody could get some eyes onto these tank destroyers, he'd be able to get some lovely damage onto them. As it is, has a blind shot there just before the guys pop up. I'm not sure if that one did any damage. Can now see the top of the Waffenträger's gun shield. Gets a beautiful hit there on the Waffenträger. And now gonna see if he can maybe get some more damage onto the Jagdpanzer E100, although he's playing very carefully behind the rocks there. That Conqueror taking consistent damage. Got to pay attention to this left-hand side, though, as there was an E75 manoeuvring up this way last time there was anybody on this flank spotted. And this one is a little bit of a slow burner to start with. Finds an STB-1. STB-1, a pretty good dueling tank. Going to try and get a shot onto him, although all we can see is grass. Gets a beautiful hit on the STB-1 there, who just takes out the Allied Centurion 7-1. Going to try and use the terrain to his advantage here, but it looks like he's not able to find anything on the STB-1 and pulls back just before his Sixth Sense goes off. So playing that one very, very smart there, pulling out at the right time. M103 also looking like he wants to abandon the position. Probably the best thing to do now is drop back towards the base and put up some kind of defense rather than trying to make an ill-fated attack down that right-hand side. As you can see, the tank destroyers now hold the center of the map. Going to move across now and see who he can find. Going to take up his original position. You can see the IS from earlier got ammo racked in that position. It's a nice shot onto the Centurion, I believe that was. It was indeed. Is Centurion 7-1. Can he get a hit on the Waffenträger? He can indeed. Picks up his first kill now. 5 and a bit minutes into the game, but he's already got 1,700 points of damage. He hasn't had an amazing game score-wise just yet, but he has been in the right place at the right time every single time so far, and been on the right flank absolutely when needed. Going to try and move around and offer some support to this Object 140. Got the Jagdpanzer E100 and the STB1 both in here, both focusing on the Object 140, not expecting a surprise Leopard 1 to show up. Object 140 dueling very well now. T-30 also raining shots down from the top. Looked like Pego was trying to get a hit on the STB1 as he is a one-shot. Did get the tracks of the E100 there. 121 coming from the right-hand side to come around behind the Object 140. It was a great piece of map awareness there from Pego to see him coming and be able to get some damage on him. Gets another great hit. Luckily for the allies here, the enemy team isn't pushing hard on that left-hand side thanks to the arrival of the 121, which is absolutely what they needed to do. Now the 121 has arrived, they should have came steaming around this corner in an effort to finish everybody off. As it was, they all kind of just lurked in the background there. And the allies are reset by the time they do manage to come forward and they start getting taken out one by one. Taking shots from the base now, as the E50 has now come around that far right hand side. Finally might be able to get some damage on this STB1. Going to use the corpses of his ally there to offer him some protection. Looks like that E75 is having a look. Gets a great shot onto him. Takes his first bit of damage of the match now. Just got to wait for this STB1 to poke himself out. T-30 still looking pretty healthy, but the Foch 155 has come around the corner now, and he may just put an end to him. Decides to just take it on the face from the STB1, who's somehow luckily managed to put a shot through his track and his ammo rack. Looks like the Foch 155 was trying to maneuver himself down the hill. Did manage to get a hit onto his tracks. Somebody fired a shot there, but it only hit the cannon of the fallen Jagdpanzer E100. I think the Foch 155 has probably fired all of his shots now. So Pego just going to try and maneuver around behind him. This E75 has also been taken out, so this Foch 155 is all by himself. He's got nobody for support, nowhere to go. He's trying to reverse into Pego now for some reason. To be honest, he could probably just do with driving forwards, trying to get away, try to drive towards his Waffenträger E100, and hopefully he can lead Pego 85 into the Waffenträger's guns, because there's no way he's going to be able to outmaneuver him here, so I have no idea what he's thinking. The only thing he's got is a large hit point pool, but he gets set on fire now. That's GG, and he's dead for kill number 3. But the amount of hit points that Foch 155 had, if he'd started to just drive towards his allied Waffenträger E100, there was no way he was going to outmaneuver a Leopard 1, who's a very maneuverable, very quick tank. But if he just started to drive back towards this Waffenträger here, he would have been able to lead Pego 85 into the gun of the Waffenträger, and then maybe he possibly still would have died, but the Waffenträger may have been able to take out the Leopard 1. Now, as it is, he's carouseling around the Waffenträger, who for some reason traversed his body in the opposite direction to his turret, and that may have just cost him his life, as his gun was almost on target. He can't decide which way to traverse. He's going to go the opposite way, because that would force the Leopard 1 to reverse. And as it is, he's traversing his gun and his body in the wrong direction. He gets taken out. Kill number 4. 8,500 points of damage. GG and the victory. So absolutely awesome replay there from Pego 85, showing his skills in the Leopard 1, being on the right flank at the right time and pulling out at the right time as well. Being on top of his game and having an awesome game for it. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, send that into replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, informative, you enjoyed it, or you learned something, think about hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I have been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks Replays, and I'll catch you guys next time.